Hello, welcome to Math Fizz. This is a tutorial about how to solve a cubic equation. So first of all, a cubic equation means there are three roots you have to find. Just like a quadratic equation, when you have the power 2, there are two roots, and then when you have only one x, there is only one root. So cubic equation, you have to find three roots. Now, the first step to approaching this, there are multiple ways, but the way I do it is pretty simple and straightforward. So first step, you want to find multiples of this last number here. And that will be what? Multiples of 30. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, and 30 itself, right? So you want to find the multiples of that number, right? So here they are. Now you go ahead and plug in any of these numbers to see if the result is 0. You plug that, replace all the variables like the unknowns or these letters in the equation, replace them by you have to do one at a time though. Either you choose 1, 2, 3, or 5, replace them in there, and if the result is 0, then that means that specific number is one of the roots. And you can try them all to see if you can find 3 that the results give you a 0. Sometimes you have to use negative signs also in these multiples to find the 0, but in our case we use 1 and then find another way to solve for the two other zeros or two other roots. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we want to start with 2. We can do 1, but I just have a good idea about 2, so we'll use 2. So if we plug in 2 here, we'll have 2 cubed minus 4 times 2 squared minus 11 times 2 plus 30, and that equals what? We have 2 cubed is 8 minus 4 times 4, that's 16, minus 22 plus 30, right? And all that, when you solve for this, it gives you 0. So of course 2 works. So in our case here, we'll use 2, right? I use 1, and 1 doesn't work, so you can try that yourself, but yeah, we'll use 2 here. Now once you find that, all you have to do is find a quadratic equation that once multiplied by x minus whatever root you found first, it will give you a cubic equation like that. So basically what I'm saying is find this equation. Always do the negative sign of that number you used. So if it was -2, we'll do +2 here, but since it's positive, we'll just do -2. Alright, so that times some equation, some quadratic equation of this form, bx plus c, right, equals 0. So yeah, this is the quadratic equation I'm talking about. And to find this, there are multiple ways you can find this. You can either expand this whole thing and compare it to this using these coefficients here to find these variables a, b, and c. But I will show you how to also do another way, like use a division to find this quadratic equation here. So to find that quadratic equation, you divide the first equation, like the mother equation, which is not that big one, x cubed minus 4x minus 11x plus 30. You divide that by the roots you found. X minus the roots you already found by plugging in that number there. So let's solve for this. So first of all, in this division, your priority is to eliminate, x cubed, right? So how do you get x cubed? By multiplying this x by x squared, right? So let's do that. So if you have x squared here, x squared times x, that's x cubed. My x's are a little weird. Minus 2x squared. Now that 2x squared comes from multiplying this by that. So you do that times this and that times that, keeping the sign here. So always don't remember, when you do division like this, there is always a negative sign there. So that negative sign goes into the parentheses. So this x cubed becomes what? Negative. So positive, negative, that's 0. And then this one here, you will have negative 2x squared. And push this down, negative 11x. And just like that one, your priority here is to eliminate this first term, negative 2x squared. So to do that, you have to multiply this x here, or this term here, by negative 2x, right, to get negative 2x squared. So let's go ahead and do that. 2x will give you negative 2x squared plus 4x. And like I said, don't forget that sign, negative sign here. So that goes in, that negative sign goes in the parentheses. You get 0 here and negative 15 here, x. And also, draw that down, so you get 30. So now to eliminate this negative 15x term, you have to multiply this by negative 15, right? So we'll write negative 15 here. So we get negative 15 x plus 30. Always don't forget your negative sign, and this will give you 0, right? So here's your quadratic equation you've been looking for there, and this here will replace that, right? So now that you have this, all you have to do is find the zeros or the roots of this equation. Once you find these, then you're done. Then you've solved for the roots of all this big equation here. So let's go ahead, and you can use a discriminant method to solve this, but today we just use the fastest way to do it. So to solve this, the way I do it is I ask myself, let me write it here. I ask myself, what are two numbers that when you multiply them, it gives you 15 or negative 15, but when you add them, it gives you negative 2. I know 15 is 3 times 5. There is 2 times 7.5, but I mean, you don't want to do decimals, so do whole numbers. So 3 and 5 works, right? So 3 and 5. We'll do plus sign here, that equals, and then 3 times 5 equals. So in order to get add them and get negative 2, then this has to have a negative sign, right? So that would be 3 minus 5, that would be negative 2. And so if 5 already has negative sign, you add that here too. So that would be negative 15. So it works, right? So once you have those two numbers, you just write x plus 3, keeping the actual signs there. So you get x minus 5, right? So once you have this, equals to 0, now for this expression to be true, x plus 3 factor of x minus 5 equals to 0, either one of these have to be 0. Either this is 0 or that is 0, right? So that means you can write x plus 3 equals to 0, or x minus 5 equals to 0. So once you have that, you just solve for x. Negative 3, x equals, that's an x actually, equals 5, right? So these are your roots. So now that you have the two other roots, you can write the roots are, you already found the first one, which is 2, right? So 2, negative 3, and 5. So these are your results, right? So yeah, there you go. So that means if we plugged in all these multiples of 30, well, 3 wouldn't work unless we use the negative sign. But 5 would work, so we would have already found 2 zeros. So this is how you approach this kind of problems. I'll do another video on how to use, like if you use this form here to find this quadratic equation here, and then follow this same format to solve for it. So if you want to see that, watch the next video I'll be making. And also please don't forget to subscribe and like my channel, or like this video, and see you around and for more videos.